Epictetus, the renowned Stoic philosopher, once imparted a valuable lesson. Surround yourself with those who uplift you, individuals whose presence inspires your best self. You've likely encountered the saying that suggests you become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Today, we delve into this idea through the lens of Stoic philosophy, exploring the 7 types of individuals who can impede your Stoic progress and how to navigate these challenging relationships. Before we embark on this Stoic journey, I'd appreciate it if you could show your support by liking this video. If you're not already subscribed, I highly recommend subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you won't miss any of our future videos. Type 1. The complainer. We all have that friend, family member, or co-worker who persistently finds fault in everything, whether it's the weather, their job, or even the food at a popular restaurant. They never miss an opportunity to express their dissatisfaction. You might wonder, why should I be concerned? Well, consistent exposure to such negativity can have a draining effect on your mental well-being. It's like a leaky faucet slowly depleting your emotional energy reservoir. Stoicism teaches us to focus on actionable solutions rather than dwelling on problems. For instance, imagine you're collaborating on a project with a perpetual complainer. Every meeting becomes an exhausting session of complaints without constructive dialogue. The impact on team morale is evident, and you find yourself sidetracked from finding actionable solutions. How does Stoicism help us deal with complainers? There are several strategies to employ. First, limit your exposure to this individual whenever possible. If that's not an option, perhaps because they're a family member or colleague, mentally distance yourself during their diatribes. Think of their complaints as a passing storm, loud and unsettling, but ultimately temporary and powerless against your inner tranquility. Second, steer the conversation towards solutions or change the subject to something more constructive. As Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. This timeless Stoic wisdom encourages us to guard our mental peace diligently, ensuring that the chronic complaints of others do not deviate us from our Stoic path of resilience and virtue. Type 2. The drama magnet. Imagine your life as a ship sailing through calm waters. Then you encounter the whirlpool known as the drama magnet. This individual seems to have an unending series of crises, conflicts, or controversies, and they have an unsettling ability to suck you into their vortex of chaos. You might initially find their energy attractive, mistaking it for passion or excitement. However, you'll soon realize that being in their sphere is like navigating a ship through a storm, exhausting and dangerous. Dealing with drama magnets is tricky, because their crises can often feel like your own. Their chaos is infectious, and you might find yourself embroiled in conflicts you initially had no part in. Take, for example, a friend who frequently has fallouts with others in your social circle. Today they're not talking to Sarah. Tomorrow, it's Tom. Your friend comes to you for advice, but you notice that this cycle never ends, and suddenly you find yourself at odds with Sarah or Tom because you try to intervene. To counteract this, employ reflective listening, where you mirror their words back to them without taking sides or offering advice. This technique allows you to provide emotional support without getting entangled in the drama yourself. Another approach is to become selectively unavailable, valuing your time highly, especially if their crises are recurring without resolution. Turn off your phone during certain hours and create focus periods for work or personal development. Make it known that during these times you're not to be disturbed. To paraphrase Seneca, true happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. This can be particularly helpful when dealing with drama magnets. Instead of anxiously wondering about the next crisis, focus on the present moment, where you have control. Enjoy your life, and don't let it be disrupted by someone else's drama. Make it a point to sail your ship calmly, steering clear of whirlpools that threaten your voyage towards personal growth and tranquility. Type 3. The Naysayer. Picture yourself as an artist painting a canvas, adding color, depth, and life to your vision. Now, enter the Naysayer who walks into your studio, glances at your work, and immediately begins to critique it. Are you sure about that color? It doesn't look realistic. You know, most artists never make it. Their words, like strokes of gray paint, start to dull your vibrant canvas. This isn't constructive criticism, which can be valuable, but a persistent aura of doubt and negativity. For instance, let's say you're excited about pursuing a new career path. You've done your research, spoken to professionals in the field, and taken preliminary courses. When you share your enthusiasm with the Naysayer, they quickly list all the reasons it won't work out. The market is too competitive. You have the right skills? What if you fail? The doubts start to feel like your own, and the self-assured vision you had begins to wobble. To deal with a Naysayer, you can employ unconventional but effective methods. Ask them for advice rather than just sharing your plans or aspirations. When people are put in an advisory role, they're less likely to attack your ideas outright and may offer more constructive feedback. Another method involves positive confrontation, challenging them to think of solutions. Instead of absorbing their negativity, encourage a more constructive form of conversation. Remember the words of the Stoic philosopher Epictetus. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. Listening doesn't mean absorbing everyone's negativity. It means discerning valuable input from mere noise. When the naysayers start to cloud your canvas with their shades of doubt, take a step back, listen, reflect, and continue painting your own life with the colors that speak to you. Don't let anyone turn your vibrant masterpiece into a dull gray landscape. Type 4. The victim. Imagine life as a game of chess, each player with the same pieces and the same goal: to checkmate the opponent's king. You think strategically, make sacrifices, and take risks. The victim, however, blames the board, the pieces, or even their opponent for every poor move they make. In their eyes, they're perpetually in checkmate, not due to their choices, but some external force working against them. Their narrative is a never-ending tale of woe, with themselves cast as the helpless protagonist. I can't get ahead in my job because my boss dislikes me, or I can't get fit because I have bad genetics. It's essential to note that some people face genuine hardships and systemic issues. However, the victim we're discussing uses their predicament as a permanent excuse, refusing to take any responsibility for their actions or lack thereof. You might find yourself entangled in their storyline, perhaps as the supporting character who constantly needs to rescue them. If you've spent countless hours listening to a friend blame their failed relationships entirely on their ex-partners, not only does this consume your time, but it can subtly encourage you to adopt a similar victim mindset in your own life. To deal with a victim, it might be tempting to become their savior, offering endless advice and emotional support. However, the Stoics would caution against this. They'd recommend drawing a firm boundary to protect your mental state. Employ a technique known as compassionate detachment. Show empathy and kindness. Don't try to rescue them from situations they need to navigate themselves. Offer a listening ear, but refrain from becoming their perpetual problem solver. As Marcus Aurelius once said, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injustice. If you find yourself drawn into the victim's narrative, resist the urge to become one yourself. Take control of your own game board, make strategic sacrifices when necessary, and play not for revenge or pity, but for growth and wisdom. Type 5. The toxic positivist. We all know this person, the one who's always exuding sunshine, rainbows, and endless streams of emojis. They're the ones telling you to just be happy when you're going through a difficult period, dismissing your feelings and experiences with a flip wave of glittery optimism. Imagine your life as a garden with flowers, weeds, and pests. The toxic positivist insists on ignoring anything that isn't a blooming rose. Got aphids on your leaves? Just focus on the flowers. Don't let negativity into your garden, they'd say. While it sounds uplifting, their approach can make you feel invalidated and disconnected from reality. Suppose you're going through a tough breakup. You're sad, confused, and seeking emotional balance. The toxic positivist's advice is, There are plenty of fish in the sea. Just smile and be happy. This excessive positivity neglects the complexities of human emotion and the realities of life's challenges. To cultivate your garden without letting the toxic positivists trample it with their indiscriminate sprinkling of good vibes only, engage them in a discussion that embraces both light and shadow. If they say, "Look on the bright side, at least you have your health," you could respond with, "You're right that I've been doing well, but it's also okay for me to feel upset about this specific issue. Both can coexist." You can also employ emotional granularity, the ability to feel and differentiate between a wide range of emotions, both positive and negative. When the toxic positivist pushes you to just be happy, take a moment to acknowledge and label your nuanced feelings. "I'm feeling a bit melancholic today due to X, and that's okay." Referencing Stoic thought, Seneca once said, "True happiness is to understand our duties toward God and man, to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." Notice the balance, understanding duties, which aren't always pleasant, and enjoying the present. The Stoic approach isn't about focusing solely on the positive or the negative. It's about embracing life's complexity with equanimity. So the next time the toxic positivist sprinkles their confetti on your carefully tended garden, take a step back. Remember that a garden needs both sunshine and rain to flourish. Embrace your full emotional spectrum. Keep nurturing your garden with the richness and complexity it deserves. Type 6. The Manipulator. Picture your life as a movie script, and you're the main character with a vision of how your story should unfold. Enter the Manipulator, the shadowy producer who subtly rewrites your script without you even realizing it, until one day you find your storyline has veered off course. The Manipulator is skilled in emotional and psychological maneuvering, using flattery, guilt trips, or even deceit to steer you in a direction that benefits them. You might have a friend who always manages to get you to pay for dinner by saying something like, "You know, I've been having a rough month, and you're so successful. Wouldn't mean much to you, but it would make my day better." Over time, your generosity has been taken advantage of. Handling a manipulator can be tricky. To counteract their tactics, employ what some experts call fogging. This technique involves agreeing with any truth in the manipulator's statements but refusing to be moved by emotional coercion. For instance, if they say, "You're so successful, you should cover dinner," you could respond with, "You're right that I've been doing well, but let's split the bill as we usually do." Another approach is to set clear boundaries and enforce them. If the manipulator wants you to lend them money or commit to tasks you're uncomfortable with, learn to say no assertively. Keep your tone calm and your words clear. "I can't lend money, but I'm here to offer emotional support," sets a boundary while maintaining the friendship. Drawing inspiration from Stoic thought, Epictetus warned us that we cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them. The manipulator thrives on your predictable reactions, manipulating your kindness, guilt, or your desire for approval. By choosing to respond differently, you're taking control of your script again. So if you find a manipulator lurking in your life, remember that you're the one holding the pen. Your storyline is yours to write, and while the cast may include a variety of characters, the protagonist's journey, your journey, should always be guided by your own values and decisions. Reclaim your script, and don't let anyone manipulate your life's narrative. Type 7. The Time Vampire. Imagine your daily routine as a carefully crafted symphony, each instrument representing a task or commitment. But then, the Time Vampire joins in, screeching off key, drowning out your melody, and turning your composition into discordant noise. The Time Vampire is not necessarily malicious. In fact, they might seem quite benign. It could be a colleague who constantly interrupts you with trivial questions, turning your productive workday into a series of fragmented moments. Or it could be a friend who invites you to countless social events that you're not interested in, making you feel obligated to attend and draining your time and energy. Dealing with time vampires can disrupt your life profoundly. To protect your symphony from being ruined by a time vampire, employ effective strategies. The Pomodoro technique, a time management method involving work intervals traditionally lasting 25 minutes, separated by short breaks, can help. During these intervals, make it clear that you're not to be disturbed, setting a boundary that protects your most productive times from being nibbled away. If you're dealing with a social time vampire, remember that saying no is not just okay. It's essential for your well-being. Instead of offering elaborate excuses, a simple, "I appreciate the invite, but I can't make it," suffices. Declining an invitation is not a rejection of the person. It's an affirmation of your own needs and priorities. Drawing inspiration from Stoic thought, Seneca reminds us that life, if well lived, is long enough. Stoicism teaches us that time is one of our most precious resources, one that should be allocated wisely. It's the canvas upon which we paint the portrait of our lives, and we should be highly selective about who and what deserves a stroke of our brush. In the grand composition of your life, ensure that each note, each instrument, each melody aligns with your greater purpose. Don't let the cacophonous intrusion of a time vampire throw your symphony into disarray. Hold the baton firmly and conduct your life with purpose, ensuring that every moment is a note well played in your harmonious masterpiece. Reflection upon ourselves. As we conclude this exploration into the characters that can derail our path towards Stoic resilience and wisdom, let's not forget that self-awareness is key. While it's easy to recognize these types in others, the more challenging and enlightening task is to look within. Are you perhaps unintentionally playing one of these roles in someone else's life? Remember that Stoicism isn't just about navigating the world. It's also about understanding and improving ourselves. If today's discussion has sparked a realization, an epiphany, or even just a bit of introspection, I'd love to hear from you in the comments section. Write your thoughts, share your experiences, and let's engage in a dialogue that enriches us all. Until next time, may your choices align with your virtues. May your actions reflect your wisdom, and may your life be the masterpiece you're meant to create.